the champions-elect Liverpool are going to have to wait it out to get their hands on their first title in over 30 years, as the Merseyside derby couldn't be separated. We'll talk about that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another Premier League prediction video, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash the old subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Premier League related, Blackburn Rovers related, well, football related. We're going to know here under one roofski. That's right, boys and girls. Woo, another crazy old week. Well, in fact, the first crazy old week and the Premier League has come and gone. Of course, wasn't it a pleasure to catch all those games on the old telly? It was like football fest. It was football ooze fest, man. Some good games, some atrocious games, but yeah, Liverpool are going to have to wait it out, unfortunately, as they cannot get their hands on the title unless something crazy goes on at Turf Moor. Of course, I am recording this ahead of the final game of the match day, but because the games are coming thick and fast, I thought I'd get ahead of it and take a look at the next round of matches, of course. But anyway, I want a big shout out before we get stuck into it, boys and girls, to the Patreons. Respect to my brothers. You know who you are. You're dirty dozen, not dirty dozen, dirty 10. We're trying to get to a dirty dozen, but anyway, the naughty 10. Here they are: Russell Frost, Cody Cahoe, Tom Clark, Tom Beresford, the legend John Spurn, of course Aztec Marky Mark, Noco Drinker, Daniel Meller, Bianca Muller, and of course the returning LG and Cow. So let's give them all a round of applause. That's right, yes. Respect to them for supporting the channel in another way. Speaking of that, if you want to support the channel in another way, you can do it just like these guys and went over to patreon.com/roverseas, smash in the old subscribe or whatever the button is over there, and you can join for as little, very, very small fee, and then you're going to be supporting a channel just like this guy, and put a big old smile on my face. Become brothers for life. That's right, or sisters for life. You never know, whatever you want to call it. And of course, there are going to be more perks and privileges over the summer. I'm going to be revamping the old Patreon, but you can get ahead of the rush. That's right. So check it all out. It's up there somewhere. I'm still trying to ranfangle my setup, and hence why we're not doing another live show. I'm trying to get to the live shows hopefully this week, maybe for the next game, which the next round of matches, which will be Thursday/Friday, depending on time difference wherever you are in the world. But anyway, let's get into it. Of course, we're going to be talking about the next batch of matches, but before then, let's see how you got on and how I got on in the old Premier League match day, whatever, the match day 30. Now, before we get into the old fixtures and fittings, let's take a look at the old criteria now. If you're new to the channel, this will all become apparent to you in just a second. If you get 0 to 4, you're in the shit-faced gang, boys and girls. 5 to 7, you're in the straight-faced club, and then 8 plus, you're in the top banana. We might have 1 or 2 of those, I can't remember, but that's the criteria. So let's take a look at how I got on. Alrighty, folks, Premier League did return, of course, on the 17th of June, which was a Wednesday, where we're treated to a bit of a snorefest, a 0-0 draw at Villa Park with a bit of a ghost goal on that one. Actually went with a 2-1 win for Aston Villa, so yeah, not too great on that one. Then Manchester City against Arsenal, that was the highlight of the day, of course. Big one there. 3-0 comfortable win for Manchester City. Arsenal actually got a man sent off, David Luiz. He actually had a nightmare game. Sterling, De Bruyne from the penalty spot, and Phil Foden on wrapping it up. 3-0. I got that one bang on the piss and nose, boys. Bang on the piss and nose. Next up on Friday, it was Norwich against Southampton down at Carrow Road. No fans, of course. 3-0 win in the end for Southampton. Danny Ings giving himself another bit of a boost for the old England squad with a goal. Stuart Armstrong, Nathan Redmond as well, was completing the route. Actually went with the 1-0 win, going the other way in favour of the Canaries. Got that one wrong. Spurs against Man United, of course, the Mourinho derby. Ended up all square, 1-1. Stephen Bergwijn with a belter, and Bruno from the penalty spot to give them a share of the spoils. There was a bit of controversy in that one, but I went there 2-2 draw on that, so not too shabby. Watford and Leicester duked out to a bit of a thriller right at the death there. Ben Chilwell looked like he'd won it with a Bobby Dazzler, but up stepped Craig Dawson with a beast of his own and a bit of a spaghetti leg kick. I actually went with a 2-1 win for Watford on that one. I'm not sure why, but I did. Next up, it was Brighton Hove Albion. They took on Arsenal, and another surprise Bobby Dazzler there. 2-1 win for Brighton with a late winner from Neil Maupay, but the goal from Arsenal, Nicolas Pepe, and of course Lewis Dunk. I actually went 2-0 for the Gunners. Got that one wrong. The battle of the W's was West Ham 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. Actually with a 2-1 win, so not too shabby on that bad boy. Jimenez and Pedro Neto on the score sheet for the Wolves. Next up was Bournemouth up against Crystal Palace. That ended up as a 2-0 win for Palace. Luka Majolovic for 12th minute, and Jordan Ayew as well. I actually went 2-0, but going the other way, so not particularly great there. Into Sunday's matches, and Newcastle looked absolutely class. 3-0 wins over Sheffield United. Didn't have the greatest comeback. It could be the beginning of the end for Sheffield United. 3-0 was the final score. I actually went with 2-1 win on that. Well, the right amount of goals in there. Just didn't distribute, but I got the right result, if you know what I mean. And Chelsea, they did take care of business against Aston Villa, despite going behind 2-1 in the end. I actually went with a 3-0 win. Again, got the same amount of goals, right amount of goals. Got the right fixture, but ultimately, yeah, not too shabby. The goals on that day: Christian Pulisic, Oliver Giroud, Courtney Hauser got the one and only goal for Villa, and then it was all square, of course, at the Merseyside derby. Liverpool have to wait. Actually went with a 4-1 win. So Manchester City will take on Burnley, probably about the same time as this video goes out, give or take. We don't know the score on that one, but just to recap, I've gone with a 5-0 win. So at the end of this, at the end of this whole video, I will do a calculation of course, all the results, and including that 5-0 win in favour of Manchester City. So we have a clean looking table. We don't want to be left in the dark about that one. So for after this table right here, I'll show you in just a second. That's what I got. This is the current table. So from here on in, after this, we will have included that 5-0 win going in favour of Manchester City. But overall, I did pretty well. Now, what about you boys? How did you guys get on? Let's take a little look at your pickaroos. So let's get into it then, shall we? Bear Hoagie kicked us off with a bit of a stinker. Not too great for him. Absolute shit. Riz Fatish, also pretty shit. Cody Cahoe, the legend. Why is he a legend? Because he's a Patreon son, but unfortunately he had a bit of a terrible week this week. Real Mars, he also did pretty shitty as well. There's a lot of shitty ones going around. I'm pretty happy with my straight-faced gang. Hopefully maybe there's a couple of you guys in it. Okay, he didn't do okay this time around. Neither did Legend of the Game. Joachim Johansson, that's right, aka No Code Drinker. He did absolute shitty this week, but he's still cool because he's a Patreon. Carl BTW, though, I'll give you a round of applause. A little bit of a round of applause just because you did okay for the first smile of the week, or the half smile. Costas K did absolute shit. Brad Pedford, not too bad as well. LG and Cal, the returning Patreon, and he did very, very well as well. Il Marcerino Dinosa Isa did shit. Shane O'Donnell also did. What did he do? Shit, that's right. Next up, Gabrielle Gash, the Aston Villa Seal. Not too shabby. Tabongo Benedict Moraine did pretty shitty as well. Shay, not too shabby. Football Mapper did absolute gash. Harrison Crane, not too bad, buddy. Nathan Brown, shitty Rooney. Tom Ellis, not too shabby. LFC, 1892. Russell Frost, Patreon, son of a gun, did shit. Miles A did absolute gash as well. Nath Games, not too bad, buddy, not too bad. Next up, Psycho's Finn, you did pretty good for yourself. Schmucky Lad, also not too shabby. Yannick Buster did absolute shit. Rooney. Ethan Chang did absolute bits. Hinks Mania 21, not too bad indeed. Yao for VMPP did absolute poop skis. Dashani Dashkatanya did absolute shatarana. Brilliant builder, not brilliant at the predictions, and Jaden FC, not too shabby. And of course, the legend, because she's a Patreon. Respect to her. And she did very, very well for herself. Bianca Muller, of course. Well done. Next up, we have GHPHD, and his predictions are in HD, and they ain't too bad. RG Gabags did pretty shit. The Aki Man did absolute tits. Robert Hollis, not too shabby. Rajit Kaur, not too shabby. And Vincent Hung, not too shabby. Into the final stretch now. Liam Martin did absolute shit. Harry Conley is also pretty shit. And Anthony Okenfanbria did absolute shit. So of course, match day number 31 is just around the corner, and we're going to kick it all off on Tuesday night. It'll be Leicester City up against Brighton of Albion, and let's go take a look at that match then, shall we? The last 6 encounters between these two sides sees 4 wins for Leicester, 1 win for Brighton, and 1 draw between the two sides. They did meet earlier in the season at the Amex. It was a 2-0 win for Leicester. That was when they were on red hot form. Perez and Jamie Vardy on the score sheet on that Bobby Dazzler. The last time I played at the King Power was a 2-1 win for Leicester as well. That was around about February last season. Gray and Vardy on the score sheet. Heading into this, Brighton have actually drawn the last 3 away matches in the Premier League, but Leicester are actually undefeated in their last 5 matches against Brighton in all competitions. Heading into this, Brighton's only defeat is that against Palace way back when, before the lockdown. Meanwhile, Leicester are actually unbeaten in 3 in all competitions. The last defeat was against Norwich, not too, of course, before the lockdown. Heading into this, bookmakers odds 6-4 on for Leicester. They are the favourites. 29-10 is the draw. 15-4 is the Alvaven. A win for Leicester. They are in 3rd. They're still a long way off. Well, they're not. They're 6 points adrift of 2nd spot Manchester City, but City do have a game in hand as of recording. They're probably could be a good 9 points clear before kick-off on this one. But a win for them could strengthen their shots at 3rd place. A defeat, and they're going to be looking over their shoulders. Meanwhile, Brighton Hove Albion come into this. Where are they in the old table? They're actually in 15th, still looking over the shoulder for relegation wise, but their win against Arsenal has done them a world of good. A win for them, though, could close in on 14th place Southampton. So it's going to be a tough old boots on this one, but I'm going to go with a cheeky 2-1 win for Leicester City. I'll give them the edge on this one, heading into the match day number 32. Next up, we have Tottenham Hotspur. They're going to take on West Ham in an all-London affair. The last 6 encounters between these two sides see 3 wins for Spurs, 2 wins for the Hammers, and 1 win for one draw between the two sides. They played at West Ham's new stadium, the London Stadium. Early in the season was a 3-2 win. A bit of a close call on this one in favour of Tottenham. Sung Young-min, Lucas Moura and Harry Kane on the score sheet way back in November. Mikel Antonio and Angelo Ogbonya on the score sheet for West Ham in a late couple of goals there. But last time they played at Tottenham, in Tottenham, wherever that game was a 1-0 win for the Hammers. Antonio again on the score sheet, and that was all the way back in April 2019. Heading into this, of course, Spurs in still ropey form, without a win in 6, picking up 2 draws in the past 3 games in all competitions. Meanwhile, the Hammers aren't doing much better as well, just 1 win in the past 5 games. That was against Southampton before the lockdown. Heading into this, the bookmakers odds 13-8 on for Tottenham. They are the favourites. 11-4 is the draw. 9-2 is the West Ham victory. If they are West Ham are victorious, they could go as high as 16th. That's one place above where they are right now in 17th. And with the Spurs in 8th, could see them rise above Sheffield United in 7th, who are on a bit of a free fall at the moment. I'm going to go with Mourinho's boys. Yes, I am. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for the Spurs to get themselves a big old boost as they try to edge closer to a late push for Champions League football. Next up, we have Manchester United up against Sheffield United. This is a big one of the grand scheme of things. Of course, Sheffield United falling back-to-back games. The last 4 encounters between the two sides see 3 wins for United, 0 wins for Sheffield United, and 1 draw between the two sides. That draw was last time they played each other at Bramall Lane. It was a 3-3 Bobby Dazzler. Man United thought they'd won it with the Rashford goal at 79th minute following Greenwood and Brandon Williams, but Sheffield United snatched a share of the points with the Oliver McBurney late equaliser. Mousset Fleck gave them also goals on that game. Last time they played at Old Trafford was a 1-0 win in the FA Cup back in 2016. Wayne Rooney on the score sheet on that occasion. United are on a very good form at the moment, unbeaten in 6 games, picking up 4 wins, 2 draws on that occasion. Sheffield United just 1 win in 3. That was against Hull. Looks like it was a friendly. It looks like a Mickey Mouse friendly, so that doesn't really count. So the last win was against Norwich in the Premier League before the lockdown way back in March. Heading into this, United have actually kept a clean sheet in the last 3 matches at home. They're also undefeated in 12 of the last 13 matches at Old Trafford as well. Heading into this, the bookmakers odds 5-2 for United, 7-2 to draw. 13-2 is the away win. Sheffield United coming into this, where are they? 7th. A win for them could see them rise above United into 5th. Manchester United are in 5th, and a win for them could close potentially knocking on the door for Chelsea into 4th. They can't leapfrog them, but it will be close to say the least. I'm going to go with the win for United quite comfortably near 3-0 to give themselves a big old boost for top 4. Next up, we have Newcastle United up against Aston Villa. They looked good, didn't they, against Sheffield United? Of course, 10 men does help, and a very fast Maxim What's-his chops also does bits as well. Heading into this, the last 6 encounters between Aston Villa, 2 wins for the Toon, 3 draws and 1 win for Villa. That win for Villa was last time out at Villa Park around about November this earlier in the season. Honohane and El Hazi on the score sheet for Aston Villa. Last time played at St James's Park, it was 2-0 going the other way in favour of the Toon, Goufan and Lansbury with a big fat OG. That was all the way back in 2017. Newcastle actually kept a clean sheet in the last 4 matches at home. Villa actually conceded at least 2 goals in 9 of the last 11 away matches. Their form is absolutely shit. 1 draw at the past 6 games. That was against Sheffield United on the first game back, which basically they probably should have lost. Meanwhile, the Toon looking good, unbeaten in 4, picked up 3 wins and 1 draw in that occasion. That's in all competitions as well. The last defeat was against Crystal Palace way back at the end of February. The bookmakers odds on this one, 30-10 for the Toon, 9-4 is the draw, 21-10 is the away win. A win for Aston Villa, who currently find themselves in 19th, could see them leapfrog above a whole bunch of teams up to 16th in the table. Win for the Toon in 13th, could see them rise above Arsenal into 10th. Goodness gracious me, I'm going to go with the Toon as well on this one at St James's Park. With or without fans, they're going to be something to be reckoned with. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win. They've got the tails up right now after that win against Sheffield United, and I think they'll continue into this game. Next up, we have Norwich up against Everton. Norwich look doomed, absolutely doomed. So this is probably a nailed-on away win here. But the last 6 encounters anyway, the 2 wins for the Canaries, 1 draw, and 3 wins for the Toffees. That's Everton. Heading into this, they did play early in the season at Goodison Park. It was a 2-0 win for Norwich. That's right, Cantwell and Srenby on the score sheet. Yes. Last time they played at Carrow Road was all the way back in 2015. It was a 1-1 draw. Wes Hoolahan and Romelu Lukaku on the score sheet for Everton. Heading into this, Norwich have actually failed to score in 5 of the last 6 matches in the Premier League, whereas Everton have actually conceded at least 2 goals in the last 3 away matches as well. Heading into this, Norwich, they were on a good bit of form prior to the lockdown, winning 2 out of the 3 games before the lockdown. Of course, it's back-to-back defeats now, losing to Southampton and, of course, Sheffield United before the break, or the unwanted break, should we say. Meanwhile, Everton, not the greatest run of form without a win in 4, but they did pick a monstrous draw against Liverpool in the Merseyside derby not too long ago, of course, yesterday. Heading into this, the bookmakers' odds will probably go with Everton on this one, 29-10 for Norwich. These games do take place on Wednesday the 24th. I should have said that earlier. 29-10 for Norwich, 5-2 is a draw, 11-10 on for Everton. They are red-hot favourites. They come into this 12th in the table, or win away from going as high as 10th above Arsenal. A win for Norwich in 20th could potentially get themselves a little bit closer to Villa in 19th. It's a tall order, though. Really, really tall order. I'm going to go with Everton on this one, 2-0. Comfortable in the end, I think. And another 3 points. Ancelotti's boys, I think they're building for next season already, and looking forward to maybe making a push for the Europa League next season. Next up, we have Wolves against Bournemouth, who are in a bit of free fall at the moment as well. Heading into this, the last 5 encounters between 2 sides, 2 wins for Wolves, 2 wins for Bournemouth, and 1 draw. They played at the Vitality earlier in the season. It was a 2-1 win for Wolves. Moutinho and Jimenez on the score sheet for Wolves. Stevie Cook got himself the 1-0 goal for Bournemouth. Simon Francis got himself sent off on that day. The last time they played at Molineux was a 2-0 win for Wolves as well. Jimenez on the score sheet once again. Ivan Carvalho as well. That was way back in 2018. Bournemouth heading into this have lost the last 6 away matches in the Premier League, whereas Wolves have actually kept a clean sheet for 5 of the list 6 matches, both home and away. Bournemouth actually conceded at least 2 goals in the last 5 matches. Heading into this, Bournemouth look absolutely lost at sea. 4 defeats at the past 5 games, and the other one was a draw. Meanwhile, Wolves look absolutely solid. 1 defeat at the past 6 games. That was against Espanyol in the Europa League. To be honest with you, just 1 win in the past 3. If you want to break down the stats a little bit further, those other 2s were draws. Heading into this, the bookmakers' odds also on Wednesday is 5-3 on for Wolves. They are red hot favourites. 14-5 is the draw. 19-4 is the away win. A win for Bournemouth in 18th. They're in the relegation zone as it stands. Could see them rise above Watford into 16th. A win for Wolves, who currently are probably the biggest threats for United and Chelsea for top 4. A win for Wolves could see them rise above United into 5th, and they'll be knocking on the door. I'm going to go with the Molineux boys. They look very, very good and very, very dangerous. 3-0 in the end. Next up, we have champions elect Liverpool taking on Crystal Palace. Potentially, I think they could win it this week. I don't know the math, but anyway, they take on Crystal Palace on Wednesday the 24th. A win for they've actually played each other in the past 6 occasions. 6 wins for Liverpool, nothing else going the other way. They played at Selhurst Park earlier in the season. It was a 2-1 win for Liverpool. It was a touchy one because actually Sadio Mane took the lead on the 49th minute. Zaha levelled on the 82nd minute before Roberto Firmino stepped up with a winner on the 85th minute. That was all the way back in November. The last time played at Anfield. 7-goal barnstorm, and that's right. That's what we want to see this time around. And again, some late drama in that game. Flipping Andros Townsend, James Tompkins, and a late consolation goal for Crystal Palace by Max Meyer. Salah, Firmino, Salah, and Mane on the score sheet for Liverpool on that day. It was all the way back in January 2019. James Milner got himself sent off on that occasion. Liverpool actually won their last 22 home matches in the Premier League. They've also scored at least 2 goals in 21 of those last 22 home matches as well. Liverpool actually won their last 6 matches against Palace in all competitions, whereas Palace have kept a clean sheet in the last 4 matches in the Premier League. So they're going to be something else against the. And the last 4 matches, Palace have won, so on a red hot form. They've actually got on better form heading into this than Liverpool. Liverpool actually only won once of the past 5. That was against Bournemouth. So they might have a bit of a rough patch. Bookmakers won't see it that way. They'll see it going in favour of Liverpool. 9-2 red hot favourites. 5-1 is the draw. 12-1 is the away win. If you're a betting man, I would put a squeaky quid on Crystal Palace to do this, because you know what? Without the fans there, that's the 12th man is not there, and the pressure might start to push onto Liverpool, and they might start to chunder. I'm just saying, but I'm not going to go with it with myself. I'm going to go with a comfortable 3-0 win. But I'm saying, if you're a betting man, you want to make a quick 10 bob, stick a cheeky quid on a Crystal Palace. I think they might nick it. Next up is them 6-fingered freakazoids. Yeah, it's Burnley. That's right. Next up, it's them 6-fingered freakazoids. It is Burnley. They're going to take on my London club, or Greater London club, Watford. That's right. So they're going to meet at Turdmore. Oh, goodness gracious me. What a shambles. The last 6 encounters sees 3 wins for Burnley, 2 wins for Watford, and 1 draw between the 2 sides. They played at Vicarage Road early in the season. It was a 3-0 win for the freakazoids. That's right. Chris Wood, Ashley Barnes, the Austrian, James Tarkowski on the score sheet as well for Burnley. Last time they played at Turdmore. It was a 3-1 win for Watford. Andre Gray, Troy Deeney, and Will Hughes on the the score sheet for Watford. James Tarkowski again on the score sheet for Burnley. Burnley actually undefeated in the last 7 matches in the Premier League. That's 7, picking up 2 wins and 3 draws out of the past 5. Whereas Watford, not too bad form, 1 win in the past 6 though. That's a bit shaky. There's too many draws for my liking. The bookmakers odds in this one taking place on Thursday, the 25th of June, 7-4 for Burnley, 8-5 for Watford. Not too bad odds. 11-5 is the draw. A win for Watford in 16th. They could rise. They can't go anywhere. They could just close in on Brighton in 15th. A win for the Freaks in 11th. They could go above Arsenal into 10th, as everybody could on this one. For me, what have I gone with on this one? I think I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. Cannot separate the two sides, of course. Sean Dyche Derby, is that right? Did he used to manage Watford? I think he might have done. Correct me if I'm wrong. Next up, we have the Gunners. They're going to be down south to Southampton on Thursday, the 25th of June. Last 6 encounters sees 1 win for the Saints, 3 wins for the Gunners, 2 draws between the two sides. They played at the Emirates earlier in the season. It was a 2-0 win. Sorry, it was a 2-2 draw. Correct me, sunshine, I'm wrong. Danny Ings, James Ward-Prowse for Southampton, Lacazette with the brace. Last time they played at St Mary's was a 3-2 win for the Saints. Danny Ings with the brace, Charlie Austin as well on the score sheet, Henry Mkhitaryan on the score sheet with the brace as well for Arsenal. Heading into this, of course, Arsenal have actually failed to win the last 7 matches in the Premier League. The Arteta effect not doing so well as it stands. They've actually won twice in the past 5, and one of them was in the FA Cup against Portsmouth. Their only other victory was against West Ham in the league. Meanwhile, Southampton, not the greatest on form, 2 wins in the past 6, and that was against, of course, Norwich last time out, and of course, way back when against Villa at the back end of February. The bookmakers' odds on this one also taking place on Thursday. It's 8-5 for Southampton, 13-8 for Arsenal, 5-2 for the draw. A win for Southampton in 14th could see them rise above Arsenal into 10th spot, but a win for Arsenal in 10th could see them rise above Spurs into 8th, depending on what goes on elsewhere. I'm going with a cheeky 1 win for the Gunners. I don't know why, but I'm just going to go with it. And then wrapping up, of course, there's a bit of a Bobby Dazzler this one. It's Chelsea against Manchester City. No pressure, City, but if they win this one, they'll put some more pressure on Liverpool, depending on what goes on at Anfield earlier in the week. Anyway, the last 6 encounters between Chelsea and Manchester City see 5 wins for City, 1 win for Chelsea, 0 draws. They played at the Etihad earlier in the season, and it was a 2-1 win for City. That's right, Kevin De Bruyne and Raheem Mahrez, and N'Golo Kante were the one to go for Chelsea. That was all the way back in November. The last time played at Stamford Bridge was a 0-0 draw, and that was in the... Was that a neutral venue? That might have been neutral. Was that the Carabao Cup? Must have been the Carabao Cup. Let's talk about the league. Last time played each other in the league at Stamford Bridge was a 2-0 win for Chelsea. That's right. And Kante on the score sheet and David Luiz on the score sheet as well. Heading into this, Chelsea have actually scored at least 2 goals in 6 of the last 7 matches in the Premier League. Heading into this, of course, City just won defeat the past 5. That was against... It was against Manchester United. Meanwhile, Chelsea just won defeat the past 6 as well. That was against Bayern in the Champions League. Heading into this, of course, the bookmakers' odds taking place on Thursday as well. 14-5 for Chelsea, 17-20 on for Manchester City. They are red hot favourites. 14-5 the draw. That's probably a bit of a lot. It's going to be tough. I'm not too sure on this one. But anyway, a win for Chelsea in 4th. Could see them rise above Leicester, potentially on goal difference, depending if they have a huge goal swing in 3rd place. Manchester City in 2nd, of course, trying to put a stranglehold on that and making sure of it. I'm going to go with a 5-goal Bobby Dazzler in favour of Manchester City. But let's just say, between you and I, all of this beautifulness comes on in bang on the piss and nose, including that result for City against Burnley in the thing. This is what the table would look like at the end of it. Liverpool will be 86 points, 20 points clear of Manchester City. I think that means the game will go to the wire against Manchester City at the Etihad the following match day. Leicester City will be up to 3rd, remaining 3rd. Chelsea will be in 4th, 51 points. United up to 5th, alongside Wolves, level on points, 49 points. Down the bottom will be Norwich, Villa and Bournemouth going down to the Championship. But that, my friends, is what I've got for you. Hopefully you enjoyed this little bad boy. And hopefully you can get your own predictions down in the comment section down below. We'll do it all again, folks. Of course, on Thursday, once the games come to a close, we might be going live, depending on if I can get everything set up by Thursday. I'm trying to get everything plugged in the right zones and all that kind of stuff. Getting everything plugged in and looking good. And then we'll be back with the new predictions, boys. But yes, be sure to check out the old description. Links to my other social media platforms in there. And of course, Patreon, boys and girls. If you want to support the channel in another way, there is a link to the Patreon in the old description. So make sure to check that sucker out. But again, be sure to get your predictions in. I want to see what you think will happen this match day. And of course, we'll be back also very, very soon. Until then, out! Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.